You are listening to www.integralnaked.org.
I completely agree with what Ken said, except if I have faith in this Buddhist tradition, then I say we need to make a distinction between stopping Hitler and destroying him. Because the basic faith that I come back to, again, is that this evil creates the tendency towards an ontological imposition that then freezes it in time and space and then get into all sorts of problems. Basic problem is that you start holding the view that whether it's Hitler or Osama bin Laden, their confusion can't be purified. Their confusion can't be unpacked and released. So I think, again, stopping that which we can all agree on a relative level is bad. Stopping it is important. But then also holding open the possibility that given the right causes and conditions, that mind, which is that confused, can actually self-liberate.
Amen. It should be so. It should be so.
And Roger and Diane.
Well, this is good. Originally, there was a break in the conversation earlier. I thought I would speak, and I knew what to say. Then as the conversation went on, I forgot. But it's still around that area. One of the things that came up for me in the dialogue between Patrick and Mark that I just want to make explicit is oftentimes when we see something that's evil, also something that's interesting is to say, what about this side? This side is not evil. When we see, and it doesn't always have to be that way. This is not a problem with evil. I'm just saying, like, let's look at how we do it. Let's look at we play the game. I'm not evil. That is. But when Patrick says confusion, and you can do this with evil too, but when he says confusion, who's going to claim no confusion? Which in a way would be no partiality, which would in a way that means there's no stages. Because with stages, there's always some level of partiality that can be unpacked, that can bloom. There's something that can emerge. This is not fully finished ever. So whenever we're looking at confusion, to a certain extent, there's this really beautiful confusion, apprehending confusion. And that leaves out the hierarchy, that statement, but we have to appreciate that somewhat. So I just think that the confusion aspect is really important in that way. And I also really resonate with, are we destroying or are we stopping? And this is a great way to bring it out in an audience like this, because sometimes when I speak of the monastic vows that we took, and they want to know what they are, and they seem very, very drunk. They're like, you didn't take any vows at all, if you hear them explained. Because there's the vow against killing. They're like, what does that mean? Well, Bodhidharma says even to nurse a view of extinction is to break the precept of not to kill, which means really we're sinners all the time. But that's the depth that we're trying to work at. So when we see Hitler and we shoot him, we need to know, yes, we're not saying, there's no extinction, so we don't shoot him. But if you shoot him, in that moment, is there that view that you have actually cut something off, stopped something, that you are refusing to touch him in that moment?
Well, I'm touching him.
And yes, and there's a way to shoot.
And that's right. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
That's
right.
Between destroying and stopping.
That's
exactly.
I absolutely
That's
agree
right.
with that.
That's usually.
I absolutely agree with that.
But then with, if I can make another basic point with suffering.
Well, before your next point's so important, let's hold the first one for a second.
Hi.
And we'll get just for 10 seconds. You just remind me of something I just want to share with you 10 seconds into your second point. The laws of love in the Talmud are taught based on how you talk to the person who's a murderer that you're leading out to execution. And so the source of the laws of love are from there, which is really what the teaching you're both kind of unpacking.